Real quick before we get into the video, a quick announcement. If you guys don't like announcements, I completely understand. Here's a time code on screen somewhere for you guys to just hop into the actual video, okay? Cool. So with the rapid growth that I've been facing over the past couple weeks, I have gotten up the courage to re-release my merch shop. I took it down for a long time. I had a Stream Elements one because nobody was really buying from it, and I just figured like, oh, you know, nobody cares. So I completely took away that merch store, and I just re-released it, but instead of using Stream Elements, I have opted to use Fourth Wall. Fourth Wall gives me a lot more control. I'm able to do sales more often. I'm able to come up with my own coupon codes, which will be important in just a second. So I was really happy, and also Fourth Wall has a lot more size options as well. They don't limit you to like 2x like Stream Elements does, and as a bigger person, I really appreciate that. So with all that being said, I just wanted to let you guys know that there is now a new merch store, and because I am making that announcement on this video, I have decided to celebrate you guys by giving you the option to get 10% off your entire order purchase whenever you use code BIRDMOMMY at checkout. We have two different designs for my logo. We have a t-shirt that has the logos on the sleeve. We have a hoodie that has the logo here on the chest. We also have a Cockwind Farms hat. If you're curious about that, I have a lot of stupid names for maps, and when I wanted to do DBD merch, my Twitch chat voted on Cockwind Farms as being one of the hats, so that's what we have there. But also, I just released a brand new design as of today, this video going live, called Bird Mommy Supremacy. I worked stupid hard on this design. It took me like 3 hours. I went through like 7 different redesigns of it. I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. This was ultimately the one I landed on. So if you guys want to pick that up, make sure you head down to the merch link in the description and use code BIRDMOMMY until the end of the month. You have until the end of the month, so until November 1st, you can use it. I mean, every time you make an order until the end of the month, it's going to be active. So I feel like I've said to the end of the month too much. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy, and thank you once again for 2,000 plus. I mean, we're at 2,200 as recording this video. I have no idea where we're going to be on Saturday. So thank you guys so much for 2,000 plus subscribers, and we just keep on going. I appreciate it. Enjoy the video. Hey, Kaiser, the swimming pool is full of applesauce, so if you want to... Kaiser?
You forgot about the artists.
You forgot artists have range attacks. Isn't artist a range artist? All right, I get it. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot the artist. I don't know how I did it. I made a pinned comment. What do you fucking want from me? Guys, look, I understand, okay? I made a video about ranged killers, and somehow, some way, I forgot about what is arguably the most powerful ranged killer in the game. I am fucking sorry. Would it make you feel better if I made an entire video about her? Yes. Fine. Don't you think you're being a tad over? Shut up! In all seriousness, I am truly confused at how I managed to forget the artist's existence. Waking up the afternoon I released the video and seeing multiple comments pointing out artists made me sit back and realize how absolutely dumb I am. Then, after I made my pinned comment, someone mentioned she's the 3rd or 4th least picked killer in the game, which couldn't be right. Her power is one of the best in the game. It's info, damage, anti-loop, and more. She suffers a tad on elevation, but overall I think she's one of the best designed in the game. But the commenter was pretty much right. With a roughly 1.53% pick rate as of writing this video, she sits at 5th least picked killer in the entire roster, which may be why I never hear people much talk about her. But maybe that's also because she's possibly the most balanced and everyone knows it. No one needs to talk about her. I mean, everything that needs to be said is said. But then I remember I'm talking about the DBD community here, the same community who has never been able to unanimously agree on anything. The same community who unironically thinks flashlights should be reportable and scratch marks are OP. So my guess is at least one person on this video is either going to tell me how I'm completely wrong and the artist is actually a super weak killer, or how artist is the most broken thing since the American justice system with no counterplay and they think she should be deleted. In any case, welcome to the 3rd installment of Dearly Designed, a series where I take a break from the rage, rants, and ripping a part of things, to gush about things I truly love, and today is obviously all about bird mommy. I always like to start with visual and audio design, and for artists, I can't say I'd rather start anywhere else. If you read the lore for artists, a woman driven mad by grief and abandonment, abuse, and finally cruel dismemberment, blaming herself for things that weren't her fault, left only with the crows she once fed as company, and finally engulfed by the fog that houses the entity, I can think of no better way to portray such a woman. The dark ink that replaced her severed limbs and tongue, representative of her artist nature, even covers her feet as if it's slowly taking over her body. The crows she once fed in life are now part of her very being, as even her scream when she swings is filled with subtle bird cries. I also really like the bird's visual design. When the head is first summoned, it's large enough to be noticeable, but not so large it's straight up goofy. I also like the clear hit detection line drawn for it, so there's no guesswork the path it will follow when you are able to summon it, nor when you fire it. You know exactly where the damage line ends and the formation into a flock of crows begins. The bird's call is also incredibly unique and can be heard across the map, making the artist stand out from the moment she uses her power. Her spindly limbs and tall structure also play into the bird theme. It's as if when the entity took her, he also engulfed her precious crows into the fog as well, accidentally, or purposely, taking both of them and building a creature of the two. Carmen's madness is also shown in her fantastic Mori, which sits in my top 5 personal ones, leaping onto the victim in a primal rage and ripping their tongue out as a flock of crows bursts from her body. There's a common fan theory in the community that killers who were good people in life, like Artist, Spirit, and Slinger, are all being manipulated by the entity to show the survivors as the person who harmed them in their past life. And I can see that here, as her guilt and rage rips apart her sanity and she loses control on the survivor, possibly thinking that they are the cult member that cut off her hands and ripped out her tongue. Let's talk about the power for a bit. I think it may be one of my favorites in the entire game. It's got relatively low skill floor, being very simple to understand, its basic fundamentals. Shoot crow at gens to see if a survivor is on them. If they are, they get swarmed and you see them. A clear path shows you where the crows will go, and you can't really mess it up. But paired with her low skill floor is a relatively high skill ceiling. As you play her more, you learn how much more the crows are capable of. From killer instinct if they barely miss, to being able to damage people at short distance with just one crow, or damaging people across the map with multiples. You slowly learn how to conserve and use your power for more than just info. On top of that, it feels good to use. You never really feel cheated except for the dreaded elevation. One important thing I have to mention, as it is my only complaint and I always try to be fair in my videos, is that elevation fucks the artist. While the crows have a wide hitbox, they don't have a tall one, so the slightest incline, like on Swamp for example, can actively screw your shots. And on maps with multiple floors, you might as well forget about using it for across map pressure. She can't aim up or down, and sometimes if you have a slight misplacement next to a hill for example, the crows will actually follow the path up the hill instead of going through it. This complaint is extremely minor, however, as the power still feels fairly balanced, and once you get the hang of the pathing and where to place the crow heads, you'll have a much easier time overcoming this handicap. On the survivor side, I never feel cheated against artists. When you're hit from across the map, you normally have plenty of wiggle room and counterplay. The crows only show where you are if you aren't attempting to bat them away, so you start the interaction, don't move for like 0.5 seconds, enough time for the aura to disappear, and she won't be able to predict your trajectory. Also, if you have a locker next to you, you can just hop in it real quick, burst out, and get back to what you were doing. If you ever find yourself at a loop where she's setting up, leave the loop. It slows her down quite a bit. With a power that feels fair to use and go against while still being powerful enough to put artists in an easy A tier, I feel like behavior really hit the nail on the head here. Everything about the artist kind of culminates together into this very well-designed killer that feels fair, balanced, and also fun to go against. I feel like in Dead by Daylight, a lot of killers have their own atmosphere. Huntress feels like you're being hunted by an actual person who grew up in the forest. Nemesis feels like you're being ran on by a tank of a biomutant ready to kill you. And Artist feels like you're going up against a woman who has truly lost her mind, summoning birds to track you down and find you and harm you because you remind her of the people who hurt her most in her life. Artist is one of those killers that I feel like behavior needs to do more of. Behavior needs to lean more into lore when building killers from the ground up so that they all feel like they are viable, but they also feel like they are fair to go against. And I feel like that's something that's missing from a lot of the killer cast. Her add-ons are also a treat. Many of them sit at that sweet spot between powerful and balance. It's not like Blight where he has 27 busted options to ruin your day with, but it's also not like Pyramid Head where there's maybe 4 halfway decent options and everything else might as well not exist. Overall, Artis's pick rate is a downright shame, and I hope that more people pick her up and learn her because she is worth it. Also, every time you break a pallet, you get to see them luscious grippies. And that's the video, guys. If you skipped the announcement earlier in the video, I understand, but the TLDW of it is I launched a merch store. There is an artist-specific merch in that merch store. And until November 1st, you can use code BIRDMOMMY for 10% off your entire purchase. Links in the description. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the...
Yeah, that's cool and all, but didn't the comments also mention Pyramid Head?
Fuck!